Hi guys, welcome to the video. Good morning, it's morning here. I have not yet managed to magic up a cup of coffee, but I'm going to do that right after the video. I want to thank everybody for, again, supporting my Patreon. That has been a wonderful thing. I had another patron join yesterday, and I'm very appreciative of that. And thank you for supporting the channel. We've been getting more and more subscribers, and that is wonderful. So I hope that it's been something that you are getting some kind of a value out of, or at least some mild entertainment. Let's see, grandbaby update. My daughter is just miserable. It's August in Virginia, and it is hot and muggy, and she is lugging around. I believe the little app that she uses said, as of this week, the baby is the size of a papaya. So she's lugging a papaya around, and that is just sounds great. So she is so ready for baby to come into the world. We have her baby shower happening this weekend, in a show of blatant sexism. Me and some of the other men folk are not going to be allowed at the baby shower, which is, it's okay. We're going to go down the street to a game store and look at gaming stuff. And Mishap Games in Roanoke, Virginia. You should check it out. You should buy their stuff. They're wonderful. Mishap Games. That's Mishap Games. That was not a promotional endorsement. That's just this thing that happens with me. Sometimes I just go into this little trance and I start saying things. It's weird. So anyways, so I got that to look forward to this weekend. And let's see, we didn't get the last of the stuff moved. The last little bit of furniture is there was a kind of a holding pattern. My friend Bob had some work stuff come up that he had to deal with, so we are hoping to get the last little bit of that out of Emily's room so that she can start moving baby stuff around and getting that ready. So all in all, we are very much anticipating grandbaby. This is part 2 of the videos I've been doing on agents, and I'm going to do more than just this one and the last one. But I had sent the last video off to my agent, Lucien Diver, who is with the Night Agency, and said, "Hey, am I missing anything here? Is there anything you think I should add, or anything that you would recommend?" And she gave me some feedback, which I'm very appreciative for. And I was going to kind of lay that on you. And I found a couple of other agency sites that I thought I would kind of throw your way and let you take a look at. I did want to go, last time I was kind of just like going boom, 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 boom. I wanted to make sure that I told you a little bit about my personal experience with an agent. Because what happened with me was I sold my first book, The Six Gun Tarot, to Tor in New York. It's an imprint of Macmillan, Tor Forge, and I got really lucky. I did it without an agent. I did it myself, and very proud of that. And that is difficult to do. It's more difficult now than it used to be, but I am proud that I was able to do that without an agent. Once Six Gun came out and did well, I had my editor and the folks at Tor kind of reach out to me a little bit and say, "Hey, what do you want to do next?" And that's around the time that I started, thinking about what I should do as far as having an agent. And I was totally new to this business. I was totally new to how publishing works. And like I've told you before, I learn something every single day that like most businesses, most industries, it evolves. And right now things are evolving like almost by the hour because of these troubling times, as they like to say in the commercials. So anyways, I started asking my writer friends, who I highly recommend you cultivate folks that you can trust and talk to. And I started asking them, "Do you have an agent? Who do you have for an agent? Who would you recommend I reach out to for an agent?" And during that process, I had some voices tell me, You know, you don't need an agent. You can do this yourself, and you can have 100% of what you know, your profits and all of this kind of stuff. And I had other people saying, get an agent. They really will help you in 100 different ways, and it's a good career choice to make. And then they recommended some names to me. And one name that kept on popping up a lot was Lucien Diver. Several of the people that I knew and respected had her as an agent. Others did not have her as an agent, but they still mentioned her and recommended her. So I wrote a letter to Lucien and sent along some examples of stuff I was working on at the time, which would later become the novel Nightwise. And Nightwise had an interesting history. It started out as like a novella, and then it kind of evolved into the novel. And I tooted my horn in the letter. I was saying, I just got published by Tor, Six Gun Tarot, and basically tried to put my best foot forward, which is what I mentioned to you in the last video. You know, you want to brag. don't brag about anything you can't back up, but definitely, you know, if you have something that that is brag worthy, mention it. And that began a series of email conversations and then later telephone conversations between me and Lucien. And during that time, I thought a lot, and I had sent queries out to some other agents as well. But Lucien was the one that I seemed to have the best rapport with. So we, kept talking and everything. And really what I told her was, if I were to make a ton of money as a writer, I would not bemoan that. If I became a household name like James Patterson or Stephen King or, someone like that, that wouldn't kill me. It wouldn't wound me. But the most important thing, seriously, the most important thing was I wanted to make sure I could work steady and that I could take care of my family, help my family out, and pay my bills. It's not that I'm not ambitious. I am ambitious, but there's just certain things that are more important to me than other things, and my family is the most important thing to me in the world. So I wanted to be able to work steady, and that meant more to me than a lot of other considerations. And she understood that. She has a family. She has a wonderful family. I love her family very much. They are awesome. And I basically decided to go with her. So we signed the contracts. I remember it was a Friday night. I signed the contracts. And I went to my Pathfinder role-playing game that I was running at the time, and got home late and checked my email, and there was a message from Lucien basically saying that she had sold 2 books for me. So less than 24 hours after I signed with her as my agent, she sold 2 books for me. And she has continued to find me work through feast and famine. And I am appreciative of that. There's a lot of opportunities in my career that I don't think would have, shown up if it hadn't been for her. So I am firmly on the side of having an agent. I know there are folks who are not. And it depends on your career path and what you want and how you want to get there. So I am trying to be open. I'm trying to give you guys all the possibilities, all the variables. Now, having gotten some feedback from Lucien, I did want to mention a couple of things. Right now, if you're looking to publish a book in New York with one of what they call, she called them the Big Five, the 5 major publishers out of New York, it is going to be much, much more likely that that's going to happen with an agent than without. A lot of the Big Five currently are not even really looking that much at unsolicited manuscripts, which is basically like the slush pile, what we've talked about before. So it helps you immensely. Over 80%, I looked this up, over 80% of the books that are being sold to New York publishers right now are being sold through an agent. So there are tiers of publishing. There's New York, which is kind of traditional big market publishing, and then there are smaller indie presses and kind of specialty presses and things like that. So one thing that I would mention also is that not every book is not everything you write necessarily has to be aimed at the New York market as a publisher. So that's up to you. Again, if you're aiming high, having an agent to get you into one of those big five publishing houses is pretty much an imperative at this point. That's what was expressed to me by my agent, and she should know. She's been at this a long time. She was in New York as an agent for, I think, over 15 years, and then she went with the Night Agency, and Night Agency is, I believe, primarily out of Atlanta, Georgia, but I think they have offices in several other cities as well. So that was one thing I wanted to bring up, is basically she was very passionate in telling me that she really feels like right now a new beginning writer really needs an agent. And I have to say, as when I was starting out, I really was very, very happy that I had her to give me advice and give me support. The book Brotherhood of the Wheel, which is currently, it was a Locus nominee for horror a few years ago, and is in development in Hollywood. Excuse me, I'm croaky in the morning. Brotherhood of the Wheel is in development in Hollywood as a television show right now, and has been for the last couple of years. So we're hopeful, we're optimistic that that's going to bloom into something. But even if it doesn't, it's really an honor to have someone want to make your book into a TV show and be excited about it. Lucien was the person who said, "Hey, you have this minor character in one chapter of Nightwise. I really like this character. Do you want to try to do something else with that character?" And I was like, "Yeah, I could do something else with that character." And that became Brotherhood of the Wheel. So an agent isn't just access. Agent is going to give you open a lot of doors for you, but he or she is going to be someone who is in your corner. They're going to tell you when your work needs more work. They're going to tell you when your work is solid. When they're excited about your work, you should be excited about it. There's just 100 different little things. I've gone to her with royalty statements that I've gotten that I've been confused about, and she has been very gracious and very helpful in trying to figure all that stuff out. So the way, and I think we touched on this a little bit in the last video, but I want to just kind of make sure I've got this nailed down for you. The way an agent works is, if you sign a contract with them, they receive a commission that is a percentage of whatever you make off of a deal that they brokered. So the books that Lucien has helped me to sell, which is pretty much everything except Six Gun Tarot, because I did that one myself. Everything else was negotiated with her. Which is another thing. Agents can help you with your contracts. The initial contract I had, my first contract, was kind of like a boilerplate standard new writer contract. And to be quite honest, it is more favorable to the publisher than it is to the writer. Shocking, I know. But it is. So Lucien negotiated certain things in my contracts going forward that have gotten me a better percentage of royalties, have managed to let me hang on to some of the rights for my books for things like movies, television, audio, and those are lucrative. They have made me more money. So an agent can kind of go back and forth and look at a contract and say, I don't know if this is really in your best interest or not, and they can work that out. So basically, the way that Lucien is compensated is through a commission. She gets 15% of whatever I make off of a project that she brokered, and that has been worth every penny. I really am happy I have that resource. I have her in my corner because she does know this business, and In a lot of ways, I'm still learning. In a lot of ways, I'm still learning every day. So if it sounds like I'm an advocate for having an agent, it is, I am. And I won't, I'm not going to candy coat it. There are people who get through this business, make a decent living, make a good living, and don't have an agent. So that choice is up to you. But I can tell you with my experience, I'm glad I had her, and I'm glad that she is in my corner and represents me. And she does so zealously. So let me see. I think that covers like most of her feedback. The major feedback was she's really an advocate for new writers having an agent. She feels like the industry is at a place right now where it's very difficult for someone just coming in the door to not have an agent. Now, that being said, it's not easy to court. I mean, I know a lot of my friends who are writers who are actively courting agents, have been courting agents for a long time. They still write for a living and they still make money. But it is competitive. So when you're going to an agent, you give them the best of what you've got. You make sure that manuscript is as tight and it's interesting, has a great opening, has good characterization, no mistakes, no errors if you can find them, formatted just like you're sending it to a publisher, and just remember, you're involved in a relationship here. It is like matchmaking kind of. You go and you're reaching out to these people and you're kind of getting to know them, they're getting to know you, and you hope you can find a good synergy, a good fit. And when you find that person, then if they are interested in your work and you're interested in them representing you, then you begin that conversation. And there have been times in my career where I've been pretty low. I've been very down, either through imposter syndrome or just simply, sometimes things go your way and sometimes they don't. I got to be honest, this week things have not been going my way. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but I am undaunted. And it's nice to have someone who, when you're worried about, something, or you're sweating a project or whatever, you can reach out to them and just kind of say, hey, what do you think about this? And I would not trade that experience for anything. It's been very, very helpful to me in my career. Lucien has been a great agent, and there are a lot more of them out there. Now, again, and she even mentioned this. There are agents who are not so great, but there are resources out there for you to. And if you go looking for multiple agents, if you basically like send queries out to several agents, you'll see that then all the folks I met at the night agency, I got the opportunity to meet everyone. I was at Dragon Con one year, many years ago, and got to meet the whole team from the night agency. They are fantastic. I'm really glad that we were able to kind of work together, and that they were interested in representing me, and I was interested in having them represent me. So that's been a plus. But there are, for every night agency, for every good agency, there are bad agents and bad agencies too, and they are in it for themselves. They are looking at you as a resource to kind of pluck, and that can happen. So I'm very fortunate with the experience I had. You do have tools and resources like Writer Beware, and several others that you can access to try to avoid the people and the situations that are not going to be beneficial to your career. So go into it with your eyes open, and just while getting an agent to represent you is like you'll be like, woohoo, yeah, I got an agent. Just make sure that they're a good agent. Make sure they're good at what they do, and that they have your best interests at heart. And I would say there are more of those kind of agents, I believe, in just my personal experience, than there are bad ones. But but the bad ones are out there, so you have to be careful. And if you have friends who write, or you now have a friend who writes, if I can be of any assistance to you or any of your other friends, reach out to them. That's what I did. I talked to a lot of people and got as much information as I can. I didn't sign anything until I was 110% sure I wanted to sign, and was 110% confident about who I was signing with. So that being said, let's do a shameless plug, shall we? You are probably sick of seeing this, but tough. This is Audible's The Queen's Road, written by this schmuck named R.S. Belcher. It is an Audible original. It came out about 6 months ago, last Christmas. It is a space opera with urban fantasy kind of overtones. It's set as much on Earth. It's set more, a lot of it's set on Earth, and the series going forward will still have that connection to Earth. But it is a sweeping space opera. If you like Grant Morrison stuff, if you like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams stuff, if you like Roger Zelazny's The Chronicles of Amber, if you like is it Brian K. Vaughan, I believe, Saga, the Saga comic book series. Those were all inspirations for Queen's Road. So I would really appreciate it if you would consider picking it up. And we have this little contest that we're starting right now, where if you purchase the Audible audiobook of The Queen's Road, and you do a screen capture, or maybe you do a verified purchase verified review, I will put you in the running to get a hardcover copy of The Queen's Road that just came out from the fantastic people at Falstaff Books. I will sign it for you. I'll sign it any way you want. And very excited about this. And I've had a lot of folks asking me about what's coming up next for Queen's Road. The second book is called The Queen's War. We are kind of in a holding pattern right now. We're waiting to see when we get the green light from Audible to move ahead. So, and the way things are right now with publishing and the world in general, everything is kind of on a slightly lower gear than it normally would be. So I hope I get started on the manuscript next year, and we'll have some news for you about it, hopefully then. But it is overall a 4-book series that I'm excited to get back to work on. So that's our little contest right now. I wanted to share that with you. I also wanted to share with you, this is Publishers Marketplace, which is one of the places you can go to get information about agents and publishers. There are disreputable publishers out there too. Matter of fact, I have a story about that. I won't mention a publisher, and I'm not saying they were disreputable, but I had this one publisher that was dragging their feet on paying me for some work I had done for them. And Lucien actually, I discussed it with her. I was kind of like bitching to her about it. And she gave me some advice. She basically told me to send him an email and to CC her in the email. And next thing I know, I'm paid. So she'll go to the sharks for you. She got it taken care of, and it was very impressive and a little scary. So anyways, I just that came up. So Publishers Marketplace is another place you can take a look at to maybe get some information. I do believe you have to pay for the site, if I'm not mistaken. There is, I think they still might put out the Publishers Marketplace books, and those you could maybe find, even if it's from a couple of years ago. So a lot of the information there should be solid. But you can probably go to your library in the reference section, or you can go to Barnes & Noble or one of the other bookstores and see if you can find them there as a hardcover, like a hard copy, and take a look there. And it'll talk to you. It has a whole section on agents, has a whole section on publishers, what they're looking for. And, and certain agents cover certain genres and certain clients. So, you know, you don't want to just like shotgun blast out all this stuff to a bunch of different agents. You want to target the kind of agents you're looking for. And there's information in Publishers Marketplace that can help you with that. Also, this is a cool little thing that I came across called Query Tracker, which is designed to help authors find literary agents. And this may be a pay site. I haven't really had a chance to explore it too much, but it is worth checking out if you're on the hunt for an agent. It's querytracker.net. So I wanted to show you that stuff. Okay, well, this has probably gone on entirely too long. I am going to go drag myself in the kitchen and make a cup of coffee. I hope everybody has a terrific weekend. I may try to hit you with another video this weekend, but we got friends from out of town coming in town for my daughter's shower, and actually it's her godparents, and everything else going on this weekend, so I may not get a chance to do another one for a couple of days, but I definitely wanted to kind of follow up. And if you have any questions on agents or how they work or how to engage with them, please send me, you can email me information or questions, or you can put them in the comments below on the video. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, click on the little bell for notifications, so when I have a new video come up, you guys will be made aware of it. Please consider going and checking out my Patreon page and supporting that if you see anything on there that you're interested in. I got some feedback about the gaming tier, and I think I might try that. I might throw that in and just see if anybody is interested in it. So anyways, with that all being said, I'm gonna say goodbye. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.